Welcome to YOUCANIC. In this video we're going to troubleshoot the parking brakes. In this vehicle we have electric parking brakes, and this is very common now with most newer vehicles. So the rear parking brakes are no longer a handbrake that you pull and you're not pulling two cables. They're connected to the parking brake calipers in the back there. In fact, all you're doing these days is that you have a button that basically controls your parking brake. So you would press it or pull it depending on the make to set the parking brake. And you normally would hear the parking brakes actuators on the back engage, and the parking brake light comes on when you set the parking brake. But in some cases you might notice the parking light starts to flash, and also you might notice that you have a warning on the dashboard that says parking brake requires service. As you can see here, we have this warning light, parking brake service required. Now this is a Mitsubishi Outlander, but this principle of how the parking brake works very similar on most makes. So let's take a look at what you will need to do. Now if you're a technician with advanced tools, what you'll do is you'll connect the diagnostic scanner into the OBD2 port right underneath the dashboard and read codes, and you probably it will tell you like which one of the actuators on the back, because that's what usually is the problem, is not has high resistance. So but in this case you most likely won't have those expensive tools, but there's still tests that you can carry on your own to find out which parking brake actuator is faulty. So let's go and take a look at where those are and how you test them. So right here we're at one of the rear wheels on the right side. Now you're gonna have these parking brake actuators on both rear wheels, and this is the most common setup. The majority of vehicles will have the parking brake actuator right behind the brake caliper. You can see it's integrated right on the back. Now there's two things you want to check. The first thing is you want to check for power. When you press that switch there, when you release or you activate the parking brakes, you want to check if you are getting 12 volts at these contacts right here. And then the other thing, if we're getting power there, the other thing you want to check, you're going to check the actuator for continuity, and we're going to show you how you perform that test, because that will tell you if this is working, and then we'll check if this is getting power basically. So those are the two tests that you want to carry. Most likely it's going to be an issue with the actuator. In most cases that's what we see, but sometimes the problem could be these connector here. It could get corroded, the wire can get damaged. A lot of times the wires connect right up here and they can get corroded where they connect there, the connectors on the other end. So those are things that you want to check, but let's first check for voltage over here. So we're going to have our multimeter and we're going to put it to DC voltage, direct current. DC voltage is that symbol right there, not that. And then you can see it's a straight line. And then if you have a voltmeter that has range, you have to select the range. You need to put that to 20 or 15. Usually it's going to be 20 on most voltmeters. And then the next thing is we connect ground and input. And then all you do is you come here and you test these two. You press that there, and it doesn't really matter if which one is positive, which one is negative, because if you just connect them backwards, you're just gonna see minus 12 volt instead of plus 12, and that is fine. So you'll connect these like this, and then you're gonna go and press the parking brakes. Now you want to make sure the vehicle is secured, and it's secured not only with a jack, but you have to have jack stands, and we recommend sliding the wheel that you remove under the vehicle, just in worst case scenario if the vehicle falls. And make sure that you block the opposite wheel, put wheel chocks back and forth of that wheel so the vehicle doesn't roll in either direction, because you will be releasing the parking brake. And make sure also the shifter is on park. Alright, so you will hold that there, and then you will have somebody activate the parking brakes, and you should get a reading of 12 volts there if everything is fine. So we're gonna go ahead and activate the parking brake. So as you can see there, we're getting power to the parking brake actuator. So this is fine. There's no issues here. The next test we need to carry is testing the actuator itself. So inside this parking brake here, there's a solenoid that pushes the piston in and out to squeeze, you know, the brake pads over here, and that can fail over time. But what we need to do here, we need to change the settings in our voltmeter. So here we're going to measure ohms. So we come here, and just to make it easy, touch both leads together, and then over here change the range to where you can hear that beep. Most voltmeters will have that feature. So you basically are looking for zero resistance, because if this is working properly, the wire is going through the solenoid and coming back out, so the electron traveling from one lead to the solenoid and coming back, so that should be zero resistance. Right now that means infinite resistance, because there's no continuity between these two leads. We touch them, it's zero. It should be the same thing when we touch these two terminals in here. So you can see how that beeps. Now if you have a bad actuator here, parking brake actuator, then you're not gonna get that beep at all. So that means you'll need to replace that. If you do get that beep, then you're good. Then you can put this back together and make sure that it's not corroded, connect everything, and go and test the other side. That's it. Those are the two most common issues. The actuator itself or the wire could get damaged, corroded. Other than that, of course, it could be problems with the parking brake module. It could be issues with the switch itself that you press, but those are going to be less likely. For more help, make sure to follow our guide. We will keep it updated. We'll keep everything there as time goes on, and we'll be adding things. So make sure to follow and read our guide, and if you have any feedback that can help others, make sure to leave a comment in there. Thank you for watching.